Okay. Tell me what I saw. Anyway, guys, look, this is a serious, serious discussion. Nearly 400 teachers have left the classroom since September. Just process that for a little bit. I don't think we need to ask if this is a cause for concern. It is clear that this is a cause for concern. How is this affecting our education system? How is this affecting our students? How will this affect our nation? Here to discuss this issue, President of the JTA, Jamaica Teachers Association, Owen Speed. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here. You're also, which school are you?
Russell Primary.
Russell Primary. So
just down the road from you here.
Yes, so you can speak in two capacities this morning. That is an alarming figure by any measure, is it not?
It is an alarming figure, and indeed I believe it is even underestimated. The 390, close to 400, I think is underestimated, because there are people who are leaving and really maybe didn't even get the chance to resign at the point when the minister got that figure. So it could be much more than that.
How much more do you think it?
Well, I can't put a number to it, but what I can tell you is that maybe at the end of April, you'll get the true picture, because some people are on leave at this time with no intention to return.
Wow. So are they leaving for other teaching jobs? Are they leaving the industry? Are they leaving to go abroad?
They are mainly leaving for other teaching jobs abroad. And what you find is that there are very few of them who are really moving around in the system here. So the resignations come, but they are not coming in a way where you can say, okay, they are going to move to another school. You rarely have that.
Moving out of the system
They are
entirely.
really moving away from our shores, and it is indeed very worrying to us.
It's worrying to you, but they're quoting the minister saying that we should not worry.
I can't see why we shouldn't worry. I mean, when you have schools out there that are short of maybe 6 teachers, high schools I'm talking about, with teenagers being able to just float around on the school compound, idle hands, nothing much to do. One of the suggestions that was made by the Honorable Minister is that he would be thinking of merging some classes. If you merge classes, then it's overload on the teachers, because already you have classes with 45. And if you're going to merge 2 classes with 45 or 30, even 30, you're gone all the way up to 60. The ratio in schools should be ideally 1 to 25. And the bigger children, you would expect that at a lower ratio. And if you are going to be merging, then that I think is really untenable. It's untenable.
Story in the news last week about a school that has no math teacher right before exams, and there are like 2 or 3 classes that have no math teachers, and it's not an anomaly. The minister has said they're addressing it. They're bringing in retired teachers. 51 retired teachers so far have come back into the system. They're looking at students who are studying teaching and putting them on practicum. What do you feel about the measures being put in place?
Some of those are workable, and we have to commend the ministry for, putting in place some of those, or considering some of those, because they have not yet been put in place, some of those strategies. 51 retired teachers coming back. 51, we have quite a number of schools, maybe about 300 high schools alone. 51 is just a drop in the bucket, really. But we still applaud them for doing that, because I made that suggestion to them, and it is basically filling some gaps, but the gaps are too big,
wide.
too
But
wide.
I have another question, Sir Speed. Retired teachers coming in at this point, in a PEP framework, I don't know. Is it fair to have a concern that this new curriculum and this new dispensation requires a different approach than perhaps a teacher who was teaching in the classroom 10 years ago had?
What happens is that those retired teachers would have been experts in the field. They know the subject areas. And mainly you have the retired teachers in the high school setup, not dealing with those in the primary schools doing PEP. So, because what you find is that in the primary schools, it's easier to have replacements for those teachers than to get specialist teachers for the high school setup. So I think it is a good attempt to fill the gaps by using the retired teachers. They are already trained, they are experienced. In fact, I believe it is better than to use pre-trained graduates and pre-trained people because those people are experts already. In fact, some of the retirees, we must remember too, are not yet 65. And we are going to 65 eventually. So, you know, it's workable.
They're still capable of doing it. As you said, the pre-trained wouldn't understand testing and measurement and all of those.
And class control and some of these things. I have the concern too that they are going to be using the invigilators from the tertiary institutions, the teachers' colleges, to do the invigilation. I asked them at the last meeting with the ministry if they have prepared those people mentally to deal with these sixth graders, especially at the primary level, because they can be a handful. If you are not trained and understand how to deal with them, they can be a handful. But I'm just hoping and praying that that goes well.
You can also make them nervous and make them anxious too if you don't know how to handle them in an exam situation. What do we need to do to encourage the teachers, those who are still in the system?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that the system is rotten as it stands. And it's a frustrating system within which the teachers operate in Jamaica. You find teachers are there for years sometimes, and they are appraised each year, but they have not been appointed permanently. They are now doing this contract system where the 1-to-5 ratio, they are 1-to-25 ratio, they are trying to straighten that out. But the teachers are being employed on contract, which means there's no security of tenure. If I have no security of tenure and something comes up abroad, I'm going to move. And that is frustrating. You find that the education officers are spread much too thinly. They have too many schools to supervise. So the supervision of the schools, that's another issue. The whole thing of leave, teachers are not getting leave when they are due. And teachers are tired. They are in the system, they are stressed, and they are almost dropping down on the job. And when the time comes for them they wait for 5 years. And when they apply for leave, they are being frustrated to the limit. And they are being told that they won't get the leave.
Are we getting more social workers in the school, Mr. Speed? I tell you why I'm asking. I had a session with teachers, and one of the things that I try to wrap my mind around is that the teacher does 80% social work, but they're evaluated on their academic achievements. And I said, well, if 80% of the time you're focusing on social issues in the classroom, but your job is dependent on how well they perform academically, either we're going to change the way teachers are evaluated, or we're going to put more social workers in to take that burden off them.
I totally agree with you. I think the ratio of guidance counselors to students, I think that must go down. We must have, right at this time, it is 500 students to one guidance counselor.
Wow.
Just
what
think
about deans
that.
of discipline?
The deans of discipline, to that ratio needs to go down. We need more deans of discipline, and we need probably deans of discipline in the primary schools too, because we need to break them and shape them from as early as possible, so that when they get up to the high school level, they are already in a frame of mind to abide by rules and regulations. So I think we need to go there. They have made suggestions that they will improve, they will increase the numbers, but we are yet to see that happen. And hopefully it will happen speedily.
So you're dealing with all those issues, then the situation with Eltham comes up, so there's a security issue as well. The security issue is grave. I think it is spread right across the system, but more so in the high schools, where you have students there who are affiliated with gangs. And so they carry their wares, they trade their wares. At some schools, even bullets are being sold, being traded, that kind of thing. On the school campus?
Yes, I got information that has happened. And one of the real challenges is that the teachers themselves cannot seize some of these items from them, because you know that they would be answerable to the dons. And if that happens, then, you know, what is going to happen to the teacher? Teacher might have to leave the job. What you want is for example, schools that are near to Monique, they have a soldier facility camp there. Get soldiers from the camp to monitor the gate.
So these
times.
issues are filtered up, they're escalated up to the ministry? And
Well, the truth is yes. And we have education officers in the system, and we have some of these matters are reported to the boards. They know.
And nothing is...
And they know, but I don't know what is happening. They are just dragging their feet. Maybe NCEL needs to train some of those people.
And NCEL would be?
The National College of Educational Leadership. Maybe they need to use that college instead of badgering the principals to say they must get this NCEL certification. I think the education officers, the board chairmen, the clerks at the Ministry of Education, who really, some of them are undertrained, that is where they need to channel the resources of NCEL to train those people and to leave the principals who are already trained.
I have two questions before we wrap, because I don't know if you have any more. One, I want to know whether you think the minister is doing enough, whether you think the government is doing enough, because you don't really have a minister now, right?
Yes.
Minister Samuda is doing what he can. That's my first question. And my second question is why you stay, and why you think others stay.
Others stay? Well, family matters, family obligations, that kind of thing. There are some people who believe, like myself, that the children should grow up in the Jamaican education system setting, that kind of thing, and go through. They get a more solid foundation from here. And you might know that when our average children go abroad, they beat the children, they outperform them all the time. You know, so that is a consideration that many people have stayed. The climate, the food, all of those things, people consider those things. It's not like the teachers like the cold there. But at the end of a month, they know at the end of 2 years, they may be able to buy a piece of land or pay down on a house, that kind of thing. So these are some of the considerations. But I personally don't think that it is tenable for us to have an education system without a full minister going close to a year. The last minister resigned in March 20, I think, last year. So next month is 1 full year. I don't think this Prime Minister is very serious about education. He has held on to the responsibility. I don't know why. The fact of the matter is that he has to put more belief in the men around him. And I would like to say clearly that if his cabinet is so shallow, then maybe he needs a break front. Because somebody must be able to take the responsibility of carrying the education ministry. And the time has come for that. Because there's no policy that can be put in place, no structure can be put in place, because as we stand, there is nobody there at the helm, really. So the buck is passed on. The Prime Minister is the Minister of Education for nearly a year now. And he has not turned up for work, not even 1 day. We have been asking for a meeting with him for us to deal with the matters, outline the way forward, that kind of thing. We have not gotten that. And I am saying it is total disrespect to the teachers of Jamaica, the educators of Jamaica, for anybody to be the Minister of Education with the title and not turn up at even one meeting for 1 minute to say hello.
It's tough.
All right.
Thank you very much, Sir Speed. We feel your frustration, and we hope that something will be done and you'll get that meeting so you can air some of your concerns. Owen Speed, always outspoken when this gentleman speaks his mind, president of the Jamaica Teachers Association. More to come.
Yeah. Still to come, Girl Talk will soon come.